violence where because Crimson Bolt doesn't have any special powers, he basically just takes a wrench and starts hitting people on the head. And he takes cinder blocks and beats them over the head with them. And the violence is very sudden and very street level and very jarring. And I kind of like some of it, but towards the end, it starts to get really violent to the point where it's a little off-putting. Something else I did like about the film is that it brings up two things, I think, of superhero culture, which is interesting. One is essentially the psychotic nature of anybody who would want to be a superhero. I think this kind of gets into that a little bit, which I liked. The other thing I thought was interesting, which the Bolty character sort of embodies, is sort of the fetishistic nature of superhero fan culture. And in the movie, Ellen Page has kind of a crush on Crimson Bolt, and of course not a crush on Rainn Wilson, but a crush on the character he plays. And I thought that was kind of interesting. The issue here is that James Gunn comes from the Trauma School. Now, when you come from the Trauma School, that means one thing. You just throw everything at the screen. You don't care how cheesy it is, how bad it is, willfully bad or not. You throw it all up there and you hope for the best, because that's Trauma. And this film really is tonally all over the place. It's got some good ideas, but in the end, it just doesn't come together as a whole. And I think Rainn Wilson doesn't really invest us emotionally in the character. And the end of the film winds up being so mawkish because he can't really take us there. So while there's some good stuff to it, and I think that the hipster crowd will get a kick out of it, ultimately, as a whole, I would just have to give it a rent. That's what I think about Super, Wade.
All right.
Not so super.
I mean,
kind of super.
So how does it compare to Defendor?
I like Defender a lot. I like Defender more than this.
Okay, because I actually like Defender, and I actually kind of like Special, even though it was very kind of low rent with Michael Rappaport. Similar deal, except there he's, ramming his head into walls, which I found disturbing.
Well, and Kick-Ass, which is with this is a little bit like we both love Kick-Ass.
Oh,
but Kick-Ass was.
Was that sarcasm?
No, we love Kick-Ass.
No, we did.
That was one of the biggest raves of the year.
But it was. But the problem with Kick-Ass was it was horrendously mismarketed, much the same way that Paul is being mismarketed. They marketed both of those to the wrong audience. Kick-Ass was not a movie for teenagers, and neither is Paul. They should both be marketed to people in their 40s.
But the problem is that the studios are afraid that people in their 40s don't run out to see films on opening weekend.
Yeah, so leave them in longer.
How are you going to have bragging rights to be the number one film if you market to 40-year-olds, Wade?
It's a myth. No one cares what the number one film is. Just like people don't care what number one on the Billboard charts is.
Well,
they don't care.
Definitely Billboard. But you know what? On Sunday afternoon, you start reading on CNN.com and on all the sites which film is number one, and it gets annoying too.
No one cares.
It gets annoying too when you have movies that are like really neck and neck.
Yeah.
Where like one makes $21 million and the other one makes $20.8 million, and yet the one that makes 21 it gets all the bragging rights.
You know what bragging rights are? 50 years after you make a movie, they release a special edition.
No, you know why? Because
that's bragging rights.
No, because the stockholders are not going to wait 50 years in order to see a return on their investment on Kick-Ass.
Well,
and Sucker Punch and all this other crap.
Some may hang on to their stocks for that long.
I will not be alive for that much longer, unfortunately. In fact, I'll be dying tonight after the show. That's how bad it's going. That's how bad the show's going right now. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up before we get to news.
Do it.
Source Code's a buy.
Yep.
Rubber's a rent. In a Better World.
Buy.
And Super's a rent. It's not a bad week in movies, Wade.
Not at all.
It could be picking up.
This weekend in movies.
This weekend in movies, ladies and gentlemen. Mike, you get an applause sign.
Yeah. As soon as we get tally lights on the camera, so you know which camera to look at, we'll get an applause sign after that.
I only have two cameras to look at. I look at that one.
We'll set up a Kickstarter campaign for an applause sign.
Yeah. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Unbelievable.
Clap, because there's no applause.
No, don't clap. There's no applause sign yet. We don't know what to do.
Well, we're about to clap again. You know why, Wade? This is one of the best parts of the show every single week. What is it, Wade?
News with Jeff Vader.
Chad, don't take the lack of applause to mean anything. It's not a qualitative judgment on your performance and how much we love the news.
I know. No applause sign. I get it.
What's going on there at the Empire Market, Chad?
At the Empire Market, things are pretty sweet, let me tell you. Pretty sweet.
I feel like there's a story there, Simon.
Okay.
No, that's it.
Or is that it?
That's all you need to know.
Okay, what's the news? All right, what do you got for us, Chad?
I've got news. Here it is.
Here we go.
Gilberto Sanchez a New York-based glass installer, has pleaded guilty to movie piracy stemming from his illegal upload of the movie Wolverine in 2009. That's right. He's a pirate and a glass installer. This glass-installing loser distributed an unfinished version or work print of Wolverine to the file-sharing service Mega Upload. In between his daily glass installings, this renegade glass jockey then promoted the film on several movie forums, bringing shame to the reputation of glass installers everywhere. Then the FBI came calling, and his plans shattered, like so much installed glass. Now, with a possible 3-year jail sentence looming, his days of unrelenting glass installation may only be a sweet memory.
Oh, my goodness. You know, wait, can I say something about this kid? Screw him. Throw him in jail. I'm sorry. Throw him in jail.
Well, they're obviously trying to make an example out of him. You know, it's the biggest problems with piracy are bigger than guys who upload movies to file sharing services. I mean, you know, it's people who bring cameras into the multiplex in Malaysia, and you know, it's the people at the post house.
Well, that's the deal with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy was related to a post house.
Yeah.
This came out of a post house.
But the problem is bigger than, you're not going to stop the problem by just prosecuting these guys. You have to actually change the chain of possession on movie elements, which is getting harder and harder to do as the elements become more and more digital. You know, but you do have to somehow police that chain of possession so that you know exactly who is doing what at what point in the process. And once you're able to track down a pirated copy to a specific point in time, in a specific place, and a specific person, that's when it'll end. That's when everyone will know that movies are like caller ID, that if you pirate a movie, at the moment you pirated it, you suddenly are attached to that movie at that point in time and at that place. If we can get to that point in the digital chain of supply, then we're good.
Well, our screeners as film critics, our screeners that we get at home, they come watermarked.
Yeah, and with a nasty little letter that says, if you pirate this, we will track you down and kidnap your family.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
True.
I don't get those, I have to say.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the case at these post houses when they lend out DVDs.
No.
You know what? But you can also pull some off the Avid.
But there are, yeah, you can pull them off the Avid. You know, there are screeners that are given to marketing people and advertising people and product placement people, and it's very, very loose. And nobody has really to clamp down on that. So,
are they taking your cell phones? All Media Reviews, who's in our chat room on the Ustream, we're on Ustream and YouTube tonight, said he was forced to check his cell phone win-win a few weeks ago. Does that guys happen to you guys?
It happens.
It doesn't happen as much as it used to.
It used to happen all the time. It's kind of like security after 9/11. You know, getting onto a plane or even going into studios was like, it was insane. You couldn't you couldn't pass a studio gate right after 9/11 without having them look at your trunk and then run mirrors underneath the sides of the car. Now it's sort of like, well, yeah, okay, go. And it's kind of the same at screenings. They'll wand you a little bit, you know. For a while there were you know, pat downs, and you know. So occasionally with a really big film, they'll make you check your phone or your you know, especially if there's a camera in it, but not really that much.
All right, Chad, what else you got?
Sarah Lane, Natalie Portman's dance double for Black Swan, told Entertainment Weekly that Portman only danced in about 5% of the dancing scenes, and that they used digital face replacement to make it look like she did. Director Darren Aronofsky refutes this claim. In other shocking news of Hollywood deception, James Franco did not actually saw his own arm off in 127 hours. Colin Firth was fake stuttering in the King's Speech, totally fake. And toys don't actually come to life when you leave the room.
What?
Ooh, Hollywood, when will the lies stop?
My childhood destroyed. You know what? To me, this is a non-story.
It's a non-story. I agree.
Right?
This happens every once in a while when somebody who's involved with a hit film in a minor way wants to call attention to themselves and sort of piggyback the film's success to.
Well, you can look if you contributed to the success of a movie, that's fine.
Yeah.
But she shouldn't be doing it she shouldn't diminish Natalie Portman.
She's trying to further her own career.
Well, I don't know. I mean, basically, it sounds like somebody who's not involved in Hollywood. She gets a credit when you sign